Thank you, Paul. Again, my name is Steve Gunlock, and today we're here to talk about retirement and why it's important to you to plan and start early for your retirement. Did you know that 63 out of 100 people that started work at the age of 25, retiring last year at 65, rely on Social Security, family, friends, and charity for their retirement income? In fact, you might know someone that's in that situation, or even more, involved or part of that retirement plan. The remaining individuals: 1, wealthy; 4 that we can count on one hand, actually did plan and started early for their retirement. 29, unfortunately, did not live to reach the age of 65. Today we're going to talk about what else do you need to know, can this happen to you, and what should you do. Before we continue, I do want to share with you where the information came from. Today's information was provided by the U.S. Consensus Bureau, dated 2013, and I have the privilege of participating in the employer that I work for, Wage and Benefit Committee. We share and receive information from Vanguard, a reputable institution that shares a lot about retirement and the importance of retirement and planning. What else should you know? Well, retirement actually averages 18 years. And so it's important to recognize that all planning and things that you're doing are based on around 18 to 20 years. In 1998, Social Security conducted a study and concluded after that study just recently that the average payout per individual for Social Security payment is $11,760 per annual per individual. Did you know that's under the poverty level? More concerning is 35% of individuals of the age of 65 or older are relying on that $11,760 per year. Can this happen to you? 80% of 100 people interviewed between the ages of 30 and 54 reported that they had not adequately planned or were concerned that they did not have enough money to date into their retirement plan. Why is that concerning? 30 to 54 are our most productive years, and certainly the years we generate the majority of our wealth of which is important to start planning and starting investing into retirement. In addition, 46% of employees working for an employer that offer a 401k plan actually are not participating. There could be many reasons why, but unfortunately most of those reported are individuals are living beyond their means and placing that money somewhere else instead of towards retirement. What should you do? Well, first and foremost is planning. And planning for retirement can be as exciting as being in retirement. Now, some of you may be 30 years from retirement or maybe just a year or two. It's still important, though, to go through the process of knowing what you plan on doing. Do you plan on travel? Do you have hobbies? What is it that you think you will need income for? And putting that down and looking at it from a monthly to a yearly basis. Once you've concluded, then move on to current. What is your income? What's your household cost? And where is that money going to come from to go towards that planning? And of course, seeking out a professional is always well recommended and certainly important to use as a tool to provide you with the necessary information for investment as well. So let's just take a look at an example of what this could look like from a planning perspective. What you see here is the monthly income, and we'll just talk about $3,000 a month. We see an individual that requires $3,000 a month, and for 20 years that individual would need approximately $500,000 in a retirement fund. But let's say you're 20 years or 30 years away and that now equates to $9,000. You can see how important $9,000 a month and how much you would require is $1.5 million of money set aside for your retirement over a 20-year period. And of course, you add 10 years to that, you now can see the impact that's 500 to 600 and 1.5 to $2 million. So planning is extremely important to put in perspective what kind of income will be necessary for your retirement. Now let's take a look at the importance of starting early and how growth can happen and how important that is towards your deposit and your retirement. Now here you can see we have individuals 25 to 65 and 35 to 65. The 25 individual starting retirement is putting aside $6,800 per year. And in doing so, that individual is depositing about $200,000. What's important to note here is the growth from the investments. And that investment is $1 million. That is based on 6% return on investment minus a 2% of cost of living or inflation rate, ultimately accumulated to a $1.2 million. The second example is an individual that's starting 10 years later, and just for the fact that the individual may be making more and trying to make up, I actually increased the deposit amount to $7,700, $900 more than the first example, taking the 10 years less. And you can see the deposit is still below the 200. More importantly, you see the growth is $600,000 less. Once again, reinforcing the importance of starting early and how the money can work for you and how those proper investments and seeking proper professionals will provide you with a retirement plan that you can be confident with. So in 41% actually of employers today will actually again give you a match, and that's free money, and that can be anywhere from 1 to 6%, as I mentioned earlier, the $16,000 to $18,000 one could be putting aside per year, all going towards this retirement. You know, one other thing that's interesting is that actually the average income or money set aside in a 401k plan for a 55-year-old today is around $255,000 a year. Considering that number of 255, looking at the information here in front of you, it wouldn't be enough if it is the only plan that individual has. In summary, again, the average retirement years, 18. If you're thinking you're going to need $6,000 a month, for 20 years you're going to have at least $1 million set aside. 63 out of 100 people today are living on Social Security, family, friends, and charity for their income. And 80% are reporting they haven't planned or are they ready for retirement, and they're in their best years between 30 and 54 to complete that plan. Will you plan and start early and live the retirement that you hope that you dream of? Or are you going to be the individual that's going to fall into the 63 and not have that luxury and fall under Social Security in a family and friend program? I hope not. You've enrolled in UW Stout. I'm sure this education is going to make you smart enough to make the right choice, and I'm sure you will. Thank you very much.